Hey everybody, my name is Victoria Rappet and today I'm going to do a booktube video on the novel Looking for Alaska. So this book was written by John Green and it actually received the Michael L. Prince Award in 2006. It was John Green's first book that he ever wrote, so that was pretty cool. I also heard that they are coming out with a TV miniseries on Hulu, starting to cast people for, Alaska and Miles and all the other characters in the book for a TV series, so that would be pretty cool to watch. So this is actually a realistic fiction book geared towards teenagers, obviously young adults, young adult novel. So I would probably say anybody from 16 to 20 would really enjoy this book. That's the age range that I would put it in. So just a little overview, kind of a summary of the book. It's about a boy named Miles who's starting his junior year of high school, and he's kind of getting used to, life without his parents, meeting new friends and new people, trying to fit in and everything at this new school. One thing that I really liked about this book is that it wasn't broken up into chapters, but instead it was broken into two parts, and then within those two parts there were like mini sections. So the two parts were labeled before, the first one labeled before, and then the second part was labeled after. So, and then the sections within those would be like, say the before section would be like 222 days before. And that kind of really piqued my interest. Like, I'm like, well, what is this event that we are, about to get to? And it kind of increased that anticipation as you get to, 10 days before, 5 days before, the day before, and stuff like that. And then this big event happens and you're like, what? So, yeah. And then, the second part after was like 2 days after, 3 days after that big event. So it's really interesting. It's 223 pages, so it was a really quick, easy read for me. Read it in about 2 days, so wasn't that difficult at all. I think anybody who really likes, realistic fiction, first of all, there's some romance in the book. It's funny. It made me laugh. And honestly, it's just really real. This could actually happen. It's realistic fiction. But that's why I really liked it. And it's in the mind, you're in the mind of a teenage boy, which I thought for me, for the type of books that I read, was a little bit different. I feel like typically the authors are females rather than, not the authors, the viewpoints are females rather than males. So it was really interesting, me being a female, being able to read from the perspective of a teenage boy. It was really cool. I wanted to give a little excerpt from the book because it's really philosophical. This book, dives into a lot of really deep questions like what happens to us when we die, why do people have to go through bad things, good people have to go through bad things, and stuff like that. And I feel like at this age, that, juniors, seniors, anybody in high school, that's when they're kind of figuring out who they are and what they believe spiritually, just, getting on that zen or whatever, morally and stuff like that. So this is the quote that I chose from it. It says, "When adults say teenagers think they are invincible, with that sly, stupid smile on their faces, they don't know how right they are. We need never be hopeless because we can never be irreparably broken. We think that we are invincible because we are. We cannot be born and we cannot die. Like all energy, we can only change shapes and sizes and manifestations. They forget that when they get old. They get scared of losing and failing. But the part of us greater than the sum of all of our parts cannot begin and cannot end, and so it cannot fail." So that's just kind of a little bit of, the writing style that Green chooses to use in this, very technical, very proper, almost. I feel like after reading it that I'm smarter. Like, using these big words, these teenagers who are they're just learning so much at the time. So, I really enjoyed that quote. Although, another disclaimer, if you're like thinking about reading this book, it is PG-13. There is tons of smoking in this book. These teenagers are constantly smoking and buying cigarettes and drinking alcohol and sneaking out and pulling pranks, you know. Another part of just being a teenager, kind of going through that rebellious phase. But I really enjoyed this book, and I would definitely recommend it for reading. I have heard of it being used in the classroom. I probably personally wouldn't use it in my classroom, just because, I don't know, I feel like I could use, I don't want to say better books, but I just probably wouldn't use it in my classroom. So yeah, I definitely recommend it to anybody who likes to laugh, anybody who likes realistic fiction, and young adult novels in general. It's definitely